because I had tolerated dumb failure in my own life for too long, those two circumstances came up and it cost me a couple $1 million. Because I exhibited dumb failure and I didn't learn from previous failures, I stayed in an investment for far too long and lost almost everything. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another one of our episodes of Founders Fire. Now, today we're going to be talking about failure and how failure helps you get better. Now, if you're going to fail, you need to fail in the right way. So there's 3 different types of failures that you can have, and we've all experienced them to different degrees. For me, I cannot express how much I failed and how I have exhibited clinically dumb behavior in many different ways. Now, clinically dumb, I told our team, clinically dumb behavior is unacceptable on our team, in our company. And one of them was like, that is wild. That is a wild term. And hopefully you don't find it offensive. And if you do, then you're not my people. But there's so many ways that I failed and exhibit clinically dumb behavior in my own life. Now, when you're exhibiting that kind of behavior, it means that you're not learning from the mistakes that you're making. It means you're failing the same way over and over and over and over and over again. And sometimes like you're either self-sabotaging or you're like really not taking time to sit down and actually learn and figure out what you need to do differently to be better. And those are the times that are the most painful, when I realize that I've been behaving in a dumb way. And I'm grateful when those situations come to my attention. One of the ways that I've actually failed stupidly and exhibit clinically dumb behavior in the past is I've been burned twice in a big way, and pretty much the same format each time. All right. So the first time I could have chalked it up to being naive, right? And ultimately not seeing the red flags and listening to the red flags and paying attention to it. So the first time I got burned, taken advantage of, ended up in a lawsuit, I really didn't take time to figure out what are the lessons that I needed to learn from that to get better and make sure that doesn't happen again. All right. So what ended up happening is eventually the same thing, a very similar situation happened 2 years later. And then that ends up in litigation. But this time I sat down and I was like, okay, what is it about me that allowed this situation to occur? What should I have done differently? What are the things that I didn't see or that I ignored that I should have been paying attention to when it happened the second time? And then I went back and looked at what are the things that, looking back at the first situation that led to that, what are the things that I should have clocked that I didn't clock? People oftentimes have a weird relationship with failure. All right. They don't want to make mistakes and they don't want to fail. Well, there's 3 ways that you can fail. You can fail and be lazy and quit and give up too soon. There's dumb failure where you just don't learn from the mistakes that you're making and you're just repeating them. And then you can fail successfully. Successful failure is a term that I got from Jeff Bezos when I was going through his shareholders letter. You can fail successfully, which is you learn, you reflect, you iterate based on the data that you gathered. Each mistake, each failure is you're acquiring data. What you do with that data is up to you. Whether that data becomes useful and allows you to iterate and get closer to where you want to be, or whether it just is being collected in the ethos and does nothing. Right. And that's where the dumb failures come, where you're not learning. Right. Intelligence is rate of learning. Rate of learning is input versus output. Input could be same situation, different behavior. Same circumstance, different behavior. same signs or same things, stimulants, different behavior. So that's learning, is how quickly you can identify a behavior or circumstance or stimuli and then change how the outcome and how you behave as a result. Example would be like if I'm standing somewhere and there's a rotating bar that rotates in a circle and I stand up and it hits me in the head. All right. If I'm clinically dumb, I'm going to stand up again, watch the bar come and hit me in the head and wonder why I got hit in the head. And I'm like, ah. And then the bar comes around again and it hits me in the head. You would look at that person standing in that situation and be like, dude, you are an idiot. But how many times is that us in our own life where we're standing up, watching the bar come and we just let it smack us in the head and be like, why is that happening? Like, why do I always struggle with this? Or why does this always happen? Like, why can't I get a break? It's because you're exhibiting clinically dumb behavior, standing up and you're getting smacked in the head with the same thing. So someone who fails successfully, who's exhibiting intelligence, stands up, sees the bar coming, gets smacked in the head, or sees the bar coming and then move. And they're like, ooh, like, let me move out the way. And then if they're really intelligent, they're going to identify, okay, I shouldn't be standing here. Let me move so that this bar doesn't even have an opportunity to hit me and I can continue making progress. Right. So how do we do that and use failure in a way that actually serves us to move forward inside of our lives and inside of our businesses and in our companies? And it's encouraging an environment where people learn from their mistakes. All right. Where they're actually sitting down and figuring out, okay, this didn't work out the way that I wanted it to. And what did I learn from it? And then documenting those learnings and then sharing it with the team and sharing it with their colleagues so that they don't make those same mistakes. All right. And so for me, identifying those areas where I was just being dumb was really, really important, because I should have, if I would have sat down and looked at the first circumstance and really sat down about, okay, well, these are the lessons that I learned. I need to pay attention to these red flags. If there's a core value misalignment, it's not, no amount of money or potential money that could be gained from that relationship is worth it. There's a core value misalignment, no amount of money from that potential relationship is worth it. All right. Pay attention and believe the red flags when I see it the first time. All right. And just, it's not worth, if I identify it early on, maybe I identified it too late, but after the deal is done, I identify it, like I need to walk it back. All right. And then I need to listen to my wife when she has a gut feeling about something and she's got, her intuition is telling her something that we should do, or she doesn't feel good about it. Like, we need to move forward together in the decision that we make so that we both feel good about it. So those are lessons that I learned from the second time a situation like that happened. And I reflected on the first time it happened. And I was like, well, if I would have taken these lessons and learned it from the first time, the second situation could have been easily 100% avoided. So therefore, it was my fault completely. And identifying those things, I was like, wow, this is an area where I exhibited dumb failure. And now that I've taken the time to reflect and to learn, I took that dumb failure and turned it into a successful failure. And it's allowed me to continue to learn and move forward and get better. And you're going to find these areas inside of your business. And it's really easy to find these areas in your business where we're like, where are we exhibiting dumb failure? Where we're doing the same thing and it's just, we're getting nowhere. We're standing up, getting hit by the freaking pole that's rotating. And we're just like getting our head smacked in. And we're wondering, why does it feel so painful? Like, why is this happening? It's like, okay, we need to take time and actually examine and figure out what do we need to learn. And so this exercise is really useful, right? What are the areas that you're doing the same thing and getting the same outcome, and the outcome is not what you want. Right? Having the process of going through and doing that has been really, really helpful, because not doing this in the past has cost me several millions. Like I'm not even exaggerating that figure. Like it has cost me millions of dollars not taking time to reflect on the most painful circumstances that I've been in, that were the result of my own hubris and the result of my own ego, not sitting down and reflecting and realizing like those circumstances, although I wasn't the one that initiated the negative outcome, I was the one that allowed myself to get put in that situation to begin with, because of either my own greed, my own ego, my own pride, or my own inability to listen to input from the people around me that know me really well. So those lessons are painful. They suck. All right. And if you have a bad attitude about it, it's going to be hard to continue running a business, right? Because you have to be able to find the areas where your business is failing in a clinically dumb fashion. Where's my business failing in a clinically dumb fashion? We're doing these things and getting these outputs. What do we need to do differently? All right. We're doing these things, and it's like, that's the thing that I've had to do. And reflecting over the last 90 days, I'm like, wow, I've identified 4 areas where we're failing in a clinically dumb fashion, and it's my fault. Now I need to help our team level up so that they don't fail in a clinically dumb fashion, and that they can start getting better, and we can start failing successfully and learning from the mistakes and learning from the setbacks, learning from the things that we need to make adjustments with, and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to pop in here. This is going to be a short episode, but it's just, what areas inside of your business are you failing in a clinically dumb fashion? Sit down and reflect. Who on your team are failing in a clinically dumb fashion? Sit down and identify. And as soon as you sit down and you start identifying what are the areas where we're failing in a clinically dumb way, and you start learning from that, you flipped that clinically dumb failure into a successful failure. Why? Because now it's helping you iterate and make adjustments moving forward. All right. You've failed intelligently. All right. Remember, intelligent rate of learning, same input, different output, same stimuli, different outcome. All right. We're adjusting our behaviors based on the information that we're gathering, based on the things that we're learning, and we're actually changing how we move forward so that we can get better. So wanted to pop in here, share that with you. It sucks. Those are painful, but those are like, because I've tolerated dumb failure in my own life for too long. Those 2 circumstances came up, and it cost me a couple $1 million. Right? Because I exhibited dumb failure and I didn't learn from previous failures, I stayed in an investment for far too long and lost almost everything. I made a bunch of money, but then I got greedy and continued to try and see what I can squeeze out of it, instead of just taking my win, cashing it in, and walking away with my head held high. There's so many areas. If I was to sit down and just reflect, like these are the areas where I'm failing in a dumb way, where I'm just being clinically dumb, right? And the sooner you can identify what those areas are, the faster you can make changes, the faster you can iterate, and the better you can become. And you can taste, never too late to take something where you failed in a stupid way, reflect on it, and flip that into a successful failure, because it's adjusted how you're going to behave moving forward. So I've started to do that, and the findings have been just ridiculous, but it's been really, really helpful. So I hope you find it helpful as well. So next time, stay calm, change lives, and have business on your terms. Peace.